checking those trolls, right? And that way I'm not interrupted. And so also, let's just remind ourselves. So I'll remind you guys that if you guys want me to leave the comments open, you have to be nice. No negativity against anybody or anything. I will reopen up the comments, but just make sure that you guys are leaving positive comments. Okay, we're here to uplift each other. Okay, not to say negative things about anyone. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave that open again. And I'm excited that I have a new moderator who's going to be squashing those trolls as I give you guys a report. And I hope you guys like my hat. My shirt goes well. This is my own shirt, The Secret Government, Invisible Architects, the book that I hope every single one of you has read. Just to let you guys know that I do have my own gear, my own clothing gear. I have Galactic Jedi wear. I have our Cosmic Origin wear, the Secret Government wear, and all available through my website. And for those that don't know me, for all the new people that are jumping on, and I see I almost have 1,400 people already. This is awesome. Welcome to my channel, where we thrive on information, knowledge, and we are at the forefront of cutting-edge documents, leaked data here on The Real Ismael Perez. Welcome to the awakening. And I also want to show or extend gratitude to each and every single one of you for being here tonight, and also for those that are going to watch it on the replay. Again, really quick, I decided to just make all my classes affordable. I don't even know if they're full yet, but there's still some spots left for all of my classes for $100 a class. You guys can access all three courses, each course with 4 classes each, 4 consecutive weeks, okay? Mind-blowing information. Go to my website or cosmicorigin.com and secure your spot. And so I can see you on a webinar, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. All right. All right. So let's get started. Let's get started with what's really happening from behind the scenes. So we might as well call this a Wednesday night Whitehead update. More on Obama. Okay. Well, it turns out that they have actually, his name came out in court today when it came to the Diddy list, okay? Came out in court today. So in a surreal, spine-chilling moment during testimony, guys, Diddy's former assistant dropped Obama's name while detailing drug usage and elite party rituals, okay? I'm also going to be talking about a new executive order, several new executive orders, and Project Golden Dome that was initiated by no other than President Trump. So tonight's going to be jam-packed with new intel. You guys are going to love it. So he described Combs consuming ecstasy pills shaped like the face of Obama. Bizarre, symbolic, and deeply disturbing. They weren't just pills. They were icons turned into addictions. So the assistant testified that this was no accident, that the usage of Obama's face wasn't just personal preference, it was idolatry in elite circles, the deification of the deep state's frontman, okay, turned into a substance of control and submission. Well, the court heard of grotesque parties, dubbed freak-offs, hosted by Diddy, where, drugs, manipulation, and power games reigned. High-profile guests allegedly attended. NDAs were standard. Phones were confiscated, and anything went as long as it stayed buried. Some whispers in corridors, some sealed in courts for national security. But the question echoes, was Obama aware of what was being done in his image? Or worse, was this a symbol of silent endorsement? Well, this is where we go deep into the rabbit hole, guys. All right, this is what it is known as elite symbolism, the perversion disguised as power. So in occult circles, symbolism isn't just optional, it's essential, okay? The appearance of Obama's face on illegal substances consumed in ritualistic settings is not a coincidence. It suggests something more sinister. The worship of the state figurehead, right? The puppet of the deep state. And yes, to some degree, he was a antichrist figure. Now, is he the antichrist as prophesied in the book of Revelation? No, that is artificial superintelligence. But yeah, in a way, Obama was an antichrist figure, okay? Also, along with these rituals, normalization of perversion via cultural icons, a hidden power structure that issues celebrities, or uses celebrities rather, as camouflage for abuse. Diddy's trials is not just exposing him, it's pulling the curtain off of an entire tier of Hollywood, Washington depravity. Barack Obama has spent years cultivating the most airbrushing legacy in modern politics. Cool dad, Peace Award winner, right? Netflix visionary, but behind the mask, he drone bombed weddings in Yemen. He spied on journalists. He armed cartels via Fast and Furious. And now his image is literally being snorted in celebrity sex dance, which again was already uncovered today in court. So apparently, this trial that is happening with Diddy, it's the autopsy of draining the swamp, right? With Trump back in command in 2025, the Justice Department is no longer asleep. RFK Jr. is taking names. Trump's team is reviewing sealed docs. The sealed indictments are real. The Diddy's trial may be the crack that splits the dam wide open, and the elite know it. The media blackouts, the legal scrambling, and the desperate spin campaigns show one thing, right? That everything is coming out to the surface, right? All these dirty politicians that were connected to the Diddy thing are all going to be exposed, okay? Now let's talk about Operation Golden Dome. Okay, this was authorized by the commander-in-chief himself, Donald J. Trump, and this is a top priority national strategic defense initiative that was actually active as of this month, 2025 May, okay? So apparently Trump has launched the Golden Dome, a classified missile defense shield designed to protect the U.S. with full spectrum space-based dominance. Enemies fear it, allies want in, and the era of vulnerability is over. And now this is the thing. Being in my apartment, my neighbors have kids that are being loud and they're outside playing. If you guys could give me a minute, less than a minute, I'm going to go out there and tell my neighbor kids if they could just keep it quiet so that, you guys don't hear the kids in the background playing. Just give me a second. All right, guys, I'm back. That's the one thing about being in my apartment. I am so close to other neighbors that we hear everything. We hear their dogs barking, the kids playing. All right, let's continue. At this point, I think I better just like seal my windows with tape and my doors so there is no noise coming from the outside. Oh my God, there they go again. All right. Well, you know what? I can't control. Kids are going to be kids. I've already told them if they could keep it down. So let's continue. Where were we? We're talking about the golden age, right? Well, the dome that's going to lead to the golden age of America. Are you guys ready for this? And this was actually implemented this month, okay? So Trump just launched the Golden Age, which is a classified missile defense shield designed to protect the U.S. with full spectrum space-based dominance. And yes, guys, they are going to be using the fifth military or the fifth arm of the United States Space Force, okay? And of course, this is also going to help us as we become part of an interplanetary civilization. It's going to help us not only safeguard ourselves, but eventually other countries that are part of the alliance. Oh, I do want to make a correction. There's only 196 countries on the planet. So the countries that have signed with the alliance are actually 106 countries out of the 196. So that's a good thing. We have the majority of the countries that have sided with the alliance against the cabal, okay? So I did want to make that correction, that there's not over 200 countries. There's only 195 countries. And out of those 195, again, 106 have signed with the alliance. So apparently this Project Shield is going to be implemented throughout all 106 nations that are part of the alliance. All right, let me continue here. So the project design Golden Dome represents a direct response to the growing risk of high velocity, multi-axis attacks, both terrestrial and non-terrestrial, against the United States, and of course the other 106 countries that have signed with the alliance. So initiated by Commander-in-Chief Donald J. Trump, the Golden Dome is not symbolic. It is a strategic structure of absolute deterrence. Operational scope includes, are you guys ready for this? Orbital interception systems, hypersonic response platforms, high-frequency tracking. I guess they are going to be using a form of AI integrated across NORAD and Space Force Command. All coordination is executed under military protocol. No foreign collaboration is permitted. This is an American defense structure that was going to be built not only for America, but for the world at large when they defeat and expose the cabal and bring about the new age of humanity, okay? The Golden Dome is going to already be constructed here in the US, and then eventually around 4 concentric, or let's just say it like this. It's going to start here in the US with 4 concentric layers of active and passive defense, each overseen by a specialized task force under the US Space Command. Primary components include high-altitude drones equipped with directed energy capabilities, satellite-anchored laser platforms for mid-course missile interruption, predictive surveillance capable of pre-launch threat pattern detection, and ground-based kinetic interceptors with global range field or fallback function. I'll repeat that one again. And ground-based kinetic interceptors with global range fallback function. So support for cyber defense. It's going to support for cyber defense, so there will be no cyber attacks on us and those countries that are part of the alliance. And EMP resilience is also being administered through secured military cloud networks under exclusive White House control. Okay, command structure. Supreme authorities lies with, of course, President Trump. Tactical development and implementation are assigned to General Michael Goodtling. Michael Goodtling, which is one of the 12 generals. Okay, acting under direct orders from the Commander-in-Chief. DARPA is excluded, of course, right? DARPA is excluded. It's not going to be a part of this. NATO is irrelevant. They don't want NATO to be a part of this. And of course, the UN holds no observation rights when it comes to this, okay? All personnel operate under military NDA level with Tier 1 loyalty protocols that are going to be involved in this project. Let's see. So the strategic signal, dominance through deterrence. The Golden Dome is not designed to start wars. It's actually designed to prevent them through unquestioned superiority. So apparently, yes, this is a project that is going to be first beginning in the States, and then it's going to extend to the rest of the planet, especially as they expose and eliminate what's left over of the globalist agenda. So by visibly establishing a national defense parameter in orbit, the United States signals the end of vulnerability. Foreign adversaries will know that any launch attempt anywhere is met with total neutralization before atmospheric breach. Okay? Any launch attempt anywhere is met with total neutralization before atmospheric breach. So there's going to be no escalation, no warning, just instant obliteration of any missiles or threats to the states and the allied forces, of course, that are part of the alliance. So allied nations include, are you guys ready for this? Canada, right now, the Whiteheads are in the process of removing what's left of the corrupt deep state in Canada, and selected European governments that are aligned with the alliance that have already requested coverage under the Golden Dome. Okay. And yes, guys, Canada will be annexed. Okay. They're working on annexing Canada, making it the 51st state. So the position from President Trump is clear, right? Access is conditional, cooperation is contractual, financial and tactical contribution required, no nation rights for free, all right? This is not NATO, this is not the UN. America comes first, and America is going to be leading in the restoration of the worldwide republics that is going to consolidate into 22 federated regions. All right, the enemy response, panic within the globalist network, okay? Well, intercepted comms and foreign state media have confirmed a rising state of strategic panic among globalist entities now. And this has been confirmed recently, okay? Some confirmed hostile reactions from CCP Beijing, excuse me. I am so thirsty already. I don't even know why. CCP in Beijing, the WEF, aligned institutions in Europe, Iran proxy intelligence, and the internal deep state remnants within DC. They're all excluded from the Golden Dome. So the analytical conclusion is that they understand that the dome ends the era of manipulation through chaos, okay? And the final directive, the total implementation by end of 2025. So by the end of 2025, the dome will be fully activated. The timeline has been accelerated now, okay? Full operational readiness is scheduled by Q4 2025, with live testing already underway over strategic corridors in Texas, Arizona, and Montana. Command protocols include continuous data link with presidential war room, national emergency override integration, and then phase 2 is civilian power grid defense extension. Sorry, guys, but for whatever reason, my voice isn't doing so well today. It's actually straining. I felt like I just sung in a concert for hours. President Trump has declared that the Golden Dome is going to be the single most important military project since the Manhattan Program. All right, so Donald J. Trump, Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. Republic Restoration Effort, has just dropped a direct economic bombshell on the globalist elite. On May 7th, in a private and forceful call with Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, Trump demanded that the top tax rate for Americans' wealthiest individuals be raised from 37% to 39.6%, targeting those making over 2.5 million individually or 5 million jointly, and that the carried interest loophole used by Wall Street financiers be obliterated immediately. Okay, this is not just a tax policy. This is warfare against the old guard, right? And it's the clearest sign yet that the GESARA financial transition is fully underway. Okay, so Trump is executing phase 3 now of the takedown. Okay, this is what they call phase 3. I'll get into it right now, but be aware that very few Americans understand the continuity of government, right? And even fewer realize that this Cold War era emergency protocol was activated during President Donald Trump's first term and has never been shut off. And that's why he remained our president even after they stole the election in 2020. So while the media obsessed over distractions narratives like mask, riots, tweets, and theater politics, a seismic shift in executive power occurred quietly, legally, and permanently. The COG allows power to transfer not to Congress or a successor, but to the military and undisclosed federal authorities. In the event of national collapse, foreign interference, or insurrection. And all of these scenarios were not only present during Trump's first term, they were overwhelming, okay? And executive orders were signed, okay? Executive orders were signed, national emergencies declared, military law prepared, and all under legal wartime footage. And Trump never relinquished command, okay? He's been our president since 2016. And this isn't political theater, guys. This is a black ops reality, okay? We haven't been living in a peaceful republic. We've been in civil war since 2016, and we are living under a wartime protocol, okay? So something changed between 2014 and 2015 when observers began to notice subtle inconsistencies in Barack Hussein Obama's public appearances. The cadence of his voice, the gestures, and even his physicality. To casual viewers, it seemed like stress or age, right? But to trained military observers and intel analysts, something was off, very off, okay? Insiders in black budget military intelligence began reporting that Obama had effectively been swiped out, right? Possibly replaced, mimicked, or even taken out of operational control. Whether through an actor or a body double or deeper synthetic means, what mattered wasn't how it was done, but why. Well, the conclusion reached by high-level White Hat operatives was very chilling. The office of the presidency had been hijacked, okay? Not just ideologically, but structurally. The real control has slipped away, right? Handed over to non-elected globalist interests that operated through layers of bureaucracy. And this has actually been going on even before 2016, guys. You know, surveillance, networks, and narrative control. The president had become a puppet. Well, haven't they all been? This triggered quite alarm inside loyal branches of the U.S. military. Contingency plans, known only to a handful of individuals, were reactivated. The old protocols of continuity of government began to hum in the background. And when Donald Trump entered the political arena in 2015, it wasn't by coincidence, okay? It was part of the plan, right? 17th letter of the alphabet. Trump was not just running for office, he was being inserted into a battlefield. And the military knew exactly what was going to happen. So the COG is not a conspiracy. Which is, again, a continuation of government. It is a legal, codified framework developed during the Cold War to protect the republic in the event of systematic collapse. It exists for one purpose: to ensure the survival of the U.S. leadership and sovereignty if the executive branch is compromised. And it also gives military authority and select federal assets the power to assume control, override civilian channels, and implement wartime procedures without public announcement. Its strength lies in its silence. It does not require approval. It only requires conditions. And those conditions were met, right? Foreign interference, internal insurrection, compromised leadership, okay? President Trump signed multiple executive orders that triggered emergency powers. But these orders were never revoked, guys. They were never revoked, okay? And if they weren't revoked, they are still inactive. They are still inactive, which means that the military chain of command that backed Trump never officially handed power over to Brandon, okay? Because under the COG, the continuity of government, they legally could not. That's Athena drinking water in the background. Biden was installed, okay, but he was never really legally inaugurated in the eyes of the military command. The Joint Chiefs never surrendered full authority. The nuclear command structure was never reset. The public saw a ceremony. The military saw a fraud, and the continuity of government remained fully operational in the background, okay? Now let's talk about some executive orders. The executive orders that back this up, okay? Trump's wartime powers never ended. Under Executive Order 13848 and under Executive Order 13912, Trump's wartime powers never ended, right? Well, let's talk about Executive Order 13848, okay? What is that? Well, this declares a national emergency over foreign election interference and grants sweeping power to sanction, investigate, and detain assets connected to it. Now, if we move over to what Executive 13912 is, that mobilizes the ready reserve of the armed forces under national emergency status. These orders are not ceremonial, they are legal foundations for wartime operations, and neither has been officially nullified. They remain on the books, okay? They are still active. And that means that Trump's legal wartime authority remains intact. So this is why no evidence exists of Brandon being granted full nuclear launch codes. This is why no military operations around the globe continue under Trump's doctrine. And this is why the Joint Chiefs held their posture even after January of 2021. Because in their eyes, because in the eyes of lawful command, Trump was always CIC. Trump was always CIC. Now, I'm not done yet, guys. I still have a little bit more to share before I open it up for Q&A. I just want to make sure that everything's fine. I believe that my moderator is on it, right? No trolls yet, because my moderator is smashing those trolls like there's no tomorrow, I hope. Let's see who's in the house. No, I'm not done yet. There's more information, but I do want to acknowledge some people that are in the house. I see Laura Ann Brown in the house. Red Hot is in the house. Sandra. Tim Potter is in the house. Baby Blue Notes. Cindy R. Sero. Edward J. Kazarjan. Lee Starr. Paul Schaefer. MJF is in the house. Oh my, it goes by so fast. All right, in all, 2,365 people that are in the house. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Wednesday evening. We are so close to disclosure. And speaking about disclosure, guys, there is one thing that I did wanted to share with you guys. If I only have access to it, in regards to how everything's going to go down when the EBS kicks in, okay? When the EBS kicks in. 1 second here. Let's see. Where was that thing? I think it was this one. Okay. All right, like I said, there's more information. Oh, okay, I found it. All right. For those that are new, I read a lot of the comments, I read a lot of the questions, and people are still asking me, well, what's going to happen when the EBS takes place? Are we going to get a call to go to a redemption center to collect our funds for our humanitarian project? How is all that going to go down? Well, let me explain, Galactic Jedis, okay? Let me explain. So, it turns out that as of the 14th of May, President Trump reinstalled after his 2024 landslide win, right? Unleashed the final phase, okay, of, 1 second here. So unleashed the final phase of continuity of government, which we were just talking about that. The trigger, the Executive Order 13848, the result, military raids, foreign servant ceased, digital proof decrypted. And then as of the 20th of May, which is yesterday, the quantum financial system is now being fully activated, okay? And as of the 21st, which is today, the quantum financial interface is going to be unlocked to the public, okay? And then as of the 23rd on Friday, which is in 2 days, the redemption centers are scheduled to begin processing live bond redemption, foreign currency exchange appointments under full Gesara protocol. That is great news, Galactic Jedis. I just hope, let's all pray that nothing thwarts this, because if this is it, in the next few days, guys, we're going to be witnessing the biggest transfer of wealth back to the hands of we the people, okay? As of Monday the 26th, Memorial Day, President Trump will address the public. An unconfirmed rumor was that he would announce the restored republic, results of the Brunson case that would take down all of Congress, results introducing the VP of the restored republic, JFK Jr., yes, and the restored republic celebration that would last from Memorial Day through July 4th, 2026. Wow, that's awesome. On Tuesday the 27th, coming up next week, several aligned nations are set to issue coordinated GESARA-linked economic announcements, including debt forgiveness declarations, abolishment of predatory taxation frameworks, Treasury-issued currency transitions, and launched of national prosperity platforms. All right, so this is great news. So what this means is that sometime the next week, we're going to be getting seven trumpets. It's symbolic, right? To what? A worldwide takeover of the media through Project Odin and Starlink and Space Force, playing 10 hours a day or 8 hours a day documentaries 3 times a day for 10 days, which is what many call the 10 days of darkness. Worldwide events, right? The Black Swan, I talked about that last time. Everything collapses. The White Hats take over the internet. The ATMs will not work for 10 days. Apparently, go get the cash out now. Worldwide phones will only work for 911 calls, but we can only obtain a Signal app. For those that don't have Signal, make sure you download the app from the military, which will secure the phones for regular use through the new Starlink satellite system and the quantum computer. The documentaries will cover topics of arrest, tribunals, fraud, corruption. And after the 10 days of communication darkness, all phones, TVs, radios, and computers worldwide will be connected to the new quantum internet run on the secure Starlink satellite system. All people of the world will be called into redemption centers where we will receive GESARA payments, can exchange and redeem our currency and ZIM, and set up secure bank accounts identifying by our own body rhythms. Remember, I talked about how this whole system is going to be linked to your own vibration, right? It's going to be linked to your frequency, right? I talked to you guys about that. That's even how the quantum beds are going to be working. It's going to be rating you through your frequency. So, identified by your own body rhythms through the new quantum system, banks will no longer have access to our monies. From now on, all voting worldwide will be done over our phones. And yes, we're going to get the Q phones, right? We're going to finally throw away our iPhones, which, again, are designed to surveil us, and computers through the new secure quantum system. No more voter fraud. Yeah. The system will prioritize participants based on existing financial or humanitarian project profiles. So that means that you may see a pending validation tag next to unconfirmed assets. Let's see. This is normal during the 10 days of darkness. The process, or this process, is mirrored across dozens of countries. Again, there's only 198 countries on planet Earth, and about 106 of those countries are aligned or signed with the alliance. Okay, from Brazil to, I guess, Switzerland. Now that Switzerland has fallen, quantum ledger syncs are happening every hour. Governments are not planning anymore; they're executing. So, as of the 23rd of May, which is in 2 days, redemption centers will begin processing live appointments under GESARA protocol. Okay, guys, this is great news. This is great news. So let's just hope that nothing intervenes. Okay, that nothing intervenes. What's about to happen in the next few days? It is already scheduled, guys. Everything is scheduled for the greatest redistribution of wealth in the history of our world. And this is what we've been waiting for, guys. This is what we've been waiting for like what? I would have to say about 5-6 years or even longer. So furthermore, there's a little bit more that I want to share. So what's going to happen at redemption centers, right? Some of you guys must be asking what's going to happen there. Well, according to sources inside the U.S. Treasury branches, the schedule is already being populated with approved Tier 4B participants. So the schedules is already being populated with approved Tier 4B participants. This is the moment we've all been prepared for. The redistribution has begun. We're no longer about to, we're now in the motion. What happens at a redemption center? What happens? Well, let's find out. You'll confirm your identity through biometric authentication, right? The organic quantum computer will be reading your energy signature. That'll be your biometric authentication. No implants, no chipping involved, right? Your SZIM, your dinar, or your dong holdings will be verified and exchanged at asset-backed rates. You'll receive a digital quantum card tied directly to your sovereign QFS wallet. You'll be briefed on post-exchange asset management, debt clearance, and project support funds. Locations are tightly controlled, no drop-ins. You'll receive your time slot via direct encrypted alert. Be ready. Security protocols. These facilities are protected by military-grade encryption and surveillance. All activity is recorded through the quantum ledger and cannot be erased. On May 2027, which is in about 4 days, 2025, 5 days, several aligned nations are issue coordinated GESARA-linked economic announcements. GESARA, NESARA QFS is going to be broadcast worldwide. Debt forgiveness declaration, the abolishment of predatory taxation frameworks, the Treasury issued currency transitions to a backed metals, launched national prosperity platforms, media wave incoming. Several sources report that aligned outlets in the US, UK, and NDR preparing economic stability bulletins, soft disclosures that will give mainstream viewers their first glimpse into the QFS architecture. So something to watch out, guys. Black Swan, the entire collapse of the stock market, banking systems. Let's just face it, the entire systems, okay? Governments, the collapsing of what's left of the governments, in Europe. Macron, the puppeteers of Canada, they're all going down. I call them the puppeteers of Canada, right? Those that stole the election. So that is great news. Now, before I open up for Q&A, some people, I do read the comments, and there's a few people that have stated that I should be giving more galactic reports or be talking more about spirituality. However, there are also other people that love these geopolitical reports. So what I decided to do is that on Wednesdays and Saturdays, it'll be a mixture of both a spiritual or galactic message, whether it's coming from Valiant Thor or other commanders, and geopolitical. And just on Mondays alone, White Hat Mondays, it's just going to be geopolitical. But on Wednesdays, it's going to be a mix, okay? Because I noticed that my viewers are both. My viewers are a combination of conservative truthers that are just, they just want to know what's happening between the White Hats and the cabal, okay? QAnon. And then I have a large amount of followers that are just star seeds. It's all they want to know is about what's happening in the stars, what's going on with our galaxy, what's going on with our ascension, spirituality, metaphysics. So I understand, okay? So it's a mixture of both. So I'm going to do my best, guys, to give you guys a geopolitical update and also let's just call it an interplanetary, non-terrestrial galactic update as well, with a spiritual message on Wednesdays and Saturdays. But on Mondays it's going to be strictly White Hat Mondays. So I want to talk about how, you can't not divide. You can't separate geopolitics from spirituality or from ufology, okay? They're all one and the same. They are all one and the same, okay? So in a world increasingly that is still asleep, right? That has not yet woken up to the truth, the boundaries between spirituality, ufology, which is a study of extraterrestrials, and geopolitics are all interwoven, okay? So whether you guys seen what was once seen, as a, separate subjects that seem separated from one another, it's actually all working together, okay? The extraterrestrial phenomena, spirituality, and politics today, guys, this is all part of a greater cosmic narrative, all right? For those that have been following me for some time, it all connects. Everything is connecting, okay? What's happening here on the earth right now, due to this war between, this cabal that's been running the show for thousands of years, right? Since the times of Babel, and the Y hats who have always kind of been around countermeasuring all their attempts and moves, is now coming to an end in favor of the Y hats. And there's a reason for that, guys. This war has been going on in many other worlds, and it also included many other dimensions. So at the heart of this convergence lies an ancient spiritual war being fought across different dimensions, involving extraterrestrial alliances, deep state networks, and the very soul of humanity, right? This battle is not just political, it is also very metaphysical. So, and it is not just as simply extraterrestrial, guys, it is also spiritual. It is not just global, it is galactic. All right. I want you guys to just expand your minds and be all inclusive. All right. It's not just the earth, it's not just white hats and deep states. This is a multi-dimensional game. All right. So, while mainstream discourses frames current events through the lens of economics, elections, or ideological conflicts, the hidden layer underneath reveals a war between light and dark that actually transcends the material world. Okay, spiritual teachers that spirituality teaches that there are higher realms of existence, dimensions beyond the physical. Now, this was a report that was actually given to me by Michael the Archangel. All right. So, this is what Michael the Archangel wants you guys to know, that spiritual teachings, that there are higher realms. Spirituality teaches that there are higher realms of existence, dimensions beyond the physical, where angelic beings, ascended masters, and dark entities operate. So, in this context, the Y hats and the Earth Alliance are not merely military or intelligence factions. They are spiritual warriors acting on behalf of universal law, guided by benevolent extraterrestrial forces. So the spiritual warfare involves astral realms, the astral realm, right? Karmic contracts, timelines, temporal wars taking place between the timelines, right? That's why things always don't happen on certain dates. Things are constantly fluctuating. And of course, soul harvesting. Okay, soul harvesting. The cabal influenced by the Draco-Reptilian Empire, Galactic Empire. What do you guys think? Who's been puppeteering the cabal on this planet for thousands of years? The Draco, okay? And other negative functions from the Orion constellation operates through manipulation, fear, and energetic parasitism. They have historically used human governments, secret societies, religious institutions, and mass media as tools to siphon spiritual energy from the collective consciousness. Now, in contrast, the Earth Alliance is aligned with positive galactic races, most notably from Sirius, Lyra, the Pleiades, Andromeda, Arcturus, just to name a few. Over 200,000, or rather over 200 million advanced civilizations across the universe, who represent the higher densities of light and consciousness. And yes, guys, the Alliance is aligned with these forces, okay? And of course, divine will, okay? These benevolent beings are not just extraterrestrial allies. They are our cosmic ancestors, as revealed in my book, Our Cosmic Origin, guiding humanity back to the original blueprint as divine, sovereign meanings, okay? So, ufology, right, which is a study of other world civilizations, ETs, has often been treated as a fringe curiosity, yet it contains the bridge between the spiritual and political dimensions of this conflict. Extraterrestrials are not merely physical visitors from other planets. They are conscious beings operating across multiple densities. Many contactees, channelers, and insiders have confirmed that the multidimensional nature of these beings allows them to influence not just space travel, but the morphogenetic fields of planets and species. And so the reptilian forces have been behind the cabal are fourth density entities who possess advanced psychic and technological abilities, including mind control, astral projection, and reality distortion. These abilities have been weaponized against humanity through hybrid bloodlines, ritualistic control systems, and astral implants. The Pleiadians, Syrians, and Lyrans, right, the coalition of light, the main ones, on the other hand, have focused on activating the DNA of star seeds and light workers on Earth. By awakening the crystalline and photonic aspects of the human DNA, they are helping prepare humanity for ascension, a quantum leap in consciousness and vibrational shift. So, in terms of the geopolitical stage, where we are finally seeing this cosmic drama unfold and come to its finality. All right. One of the things that I reveal in our cosmic origin, guys, is that this house cleansing of evil began in the higher dimensions, and through a collective effort from all the light beings working on every level of reality, they have been pretty much nullifying and neutralizing evil on every dimension, all the way down to the third. So the third dimension is last. Okay, the higher dimensions have been cleansed. And so that's why we read in many stories or many ancient manuscripts and scriptures from many religions, all testifying that the last battle takes place on the earth. Well, what do you think they're referring to? They're referring to this last battle that has been going on in our cosmos for billions of years. For those that have taken my course, Our Cosmic Origin, you know what I'm talking about, okay? So the geopolitical scenario that is now unfolding is the final stage of this cosmic drama. That's where I was getting at. So from the war of Ukraine to economic collapse and engineered pandemics, geopolitical events are these moves in a far larger galactic conflict. Believe it or not, guys, everything that's been happening here on this planet through the secret society networks are all being manipulated by non-terrestrials. The non-terrestrials are the ones that are playing the game at higher levels, or they have been, right? So, for instance, the cabal, right? The cabal have been the what? They have been the pawns of the Draco reptilians, the Zeta reticulans, the Greys, and some of the mantis and insectoids and AIs, right? So the cabal have been their proxy here in the 3D. While at the same time, the Alliance, the White Hats, who have a history, by the way, if you read my book, The Secret Government, they were the original Israelites, not the fake Jews of today, are also connected with benevolent forces. So what we're seeing here is a proxy war of a greater war that has been going on in other dimensions and in other planets. Okay, so the nations of the world are pawns, right? Bishops and kings have all been part of this game, right? The dark kings and bishops that have been controlled by the Vatican have been working with the Dracos. The revolutionaries, the Renaissance man, Leonardo da Vinci, and the freedom fighters, right? That brought us out of the dark ages have been working with the positive extraterrestrials. So the White Hat Military Alliance, which is a global of patriots, a global network of patriots, rogue intelligent officers, and whistleblowers, is supported by off-world intelligence. I've already mentioned that. Commander Valiant Thor is the liaison for that, right? He represents the United Federation of Planets, which is a coalition of Type 1 and Type 2 advanced interstellar races consisting of 600 and 900 worlds, right? Well, our planet has recently been initiated into that. So the White Hats have always been supported by these off-world intelligences and advanced technologies beyond anything that has been publicly disclosed. Okay, so projects like Solar Warden, right, secret space programs, and reverse engineered craft are not science fiction. They are hidden layers of a multidimensional war to liberate humanity. So on the other side, the cabal continues to operate through the remnants of the empires, right? Beginning with Babylon, then the Medo-Persia Empire, then the Macedonian, and then, of course, the Roman Empire, and then the reorganized Vatican, which is the continuity of the Roman Empire, with the Jesuits being the last of its core, who, by the way, created the Bavarian Illuminati that eventually infiltrated the Republic from 1776. Oh, my God. Again, guys, read my books, Our Cosmic Origin and The Secret Government. You guys will know what I'm talking about. So, the cabal has been running this show, right? They've been controlling the British royal bloodline, the banking institutions. They are the Zionist intelligent networks and the black budget corporations that have been, you could say they've all been receiving guidance all this time from these reptilian forces who require humanity's energetic submission in order for them to maintain control. But the tide is turning, guys. The tide has turned because we're living in a different time. The prophecies of a final battle, right, as written in every record, are here. They're here. Numerous spiritual and religious traditions speak of a final confrontation between the forces of light and the forces of darkness, a time when humanity would face its great reckoning. The Bible refers to it as Armageddon, the battle where the armies of God defeat the beast system. In the Hopi tradition, the purifier comes to cleanse the earth of corruption. Well, the purifier is also metaphorically speaking of Nibiru. Nibiru has been restored, separating those who walks in harmony from those who do not. In the book of Revelation, a new heaven and a new earth, which is a promise after the old world fails or falls, which is what's happening right now, thanks to the Alliance and their ET counterparts. Indigenous wisdom keepers from the Andes, from Tibet and Africa, speak of a time when the eagle, north, and the condor, south, fly together, symbolizing a planetary unification of spirit and matter, masculine and feminine, earth and sky. The Mayans calendar ending in 2012, which is really 2025, 2024. It's supposed to happen now. Anyways, the Mayans calendar ending in 2012 was not the end of the world, but the beginning of an age and the opening up of a galactic gateway. And so in esoteric circles, the prophecy of the 3 waves of ascension marked by solar flashes is now being fulfilled. The solar events are more than physical. They are spiritual downloads from the galactic core, catalyzing awakening, healing, and the timeline split between ascension and degradation. Welcome to a new heaven on earth. Oh, did I ever tell you guys that before I published Our Cosmic Origin, I was actually going to call it and title it A New Heaven on Earth? But my buddy said, no, after reading it, it should not be called A New Heaven on Earth. It should just be called Our Cosmic Origin, because you're like explaining this galactic history. You're explaining Earth's place in the multiverse. You're explaining 12 universes and a whole lot of information. He says, if you call it A New Heaven on Earth, it just doesn't fit the context of the book. The context is really dense with all kinds of galactic and cosmic information. So he told me that the best title for my book would be Our Cosmic Origin. But initially, guys, I was going to call my book A New Heaven on Earth. Okay, A New Heaven on Earth. So, the outcome of this battle has already been written in the higher realms. Like I said, the forces of light always begin by cleansing the higher realms first, and then it finally reaches the lowest realms. That's why the last battle takes place here. The victory of the light is not merely possible, it is inevitable. It is inevitable, guys. And so what remains is how humanity chooses to awaken, act, and align with this pivotal moment. So as the veils of illusion fall, more people are realizing that every thought, intention, and action is part of the larger tapestry of this war. And this is something that I teach my students in Ascension 2.0. I can't wait to meet some of you guys in about a week and a half on the webinar. Again, go to my website or cosmicorigin.com. $100. All my classes are $100. The emergence of a new earth is not just a myth, right? It is the return to the original divine design. A civilization rooted in peace, unity, and resonance with universal law. Okay? Universal law, spiritual law. Advanced technologies like free energy, replicators, medbeds, and zero-point consciousness are waiting behind the dam of disclosure. And when it breaks, it will unleash a renaissance unlike never seen before. This moment in history is not just a crisis, it is a convergence, guys. It is a convergence. Spirituality, ideology, ufology, geopolitics, philosophy, metaphysics are not separated threads. They are all different aspects of one bigger puzzle piece. They are the strands of one divine mission to liberate Earth, awaken her children, and prepare the way for the new heaven to manifest on the earth. That's right, guys. I was going to call my book initially, Our Cosmic Origin was going to be called A New Heaven on Earth. And again, my buddy was just like, no, 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 no. Based on the information in that book, it's best that you call it Our Cosmic Origin. All right, we are about an hour in. I will be taking Q&A, but if you guys could just give me a minute, I got to go pee. 1 second. I'm just being real here. 1 second. 1 minute. 1 minute. All right, guys, go ahead and ask me any question. This is the time for Q&A. And if my moderator is out there, can you do me a favor and unblock Monica, please? Thank you. I would appreciate that. Let's see. I do have a super chat from Tammy. All right. Tammy has a super chat. It's never heard this question. I've never heard this question mention of any of your lives. Just wondering if you know anything about some people having the left letters M in the crest. Oh, yes, I have heard about that. Like if they have an M here in their palm, that means that these people are very, they have like these psychic abilities. They have powers, like magical powers. They're very powerful. That's what I heard. I heard that they were very, very powerful. Thank you, Suzanne K. I appreciate that, Zell. Just got it. But yeah, that means that people that have the M on their palm is they're very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. Let's see. If you guys could just give me a second here. One second, guys. I'm trying to figure out something. I'll get back to Q&A. One second. Okay, let's see. I'm almost done. Okay, let's see. Alrighty. Alrighty. Let's see what I could do here. All right. So, I have a message to my moderator. The whole purpose of making you a moderator is to just block the trolls. All right, block the trolls, and that's it. Just the trolls, nobody else. So I do have a question from Cloud Dweller. Will there be rehabilitation for star seeds used for spiritual war since a child that was karma implanted? I am one of them. Yes, they will be doing that, of course. And that actually already started with the children that they rescued. So, yes, that's going to also extend to star seeds that were involved in the spiritual war. And I've mentioned this before, and I'll mention it again. Some of you star seeds were actually fighting in the astral realm. You guys were fighting in the astral realm, okay? So, thank you so much, Tammy Simmons, for your super chat. She said, I've never heard this question. I think I've already answered it about the M. Let's see. All right, I have another question from Rhonda Chance. Ishmael, will the Jubilee encompass old debt on your credit file? Will there even be credit bureaus? Thank you. The answer to that is no, it's not going to encompass the old, everything's going to be cleared. So after that, there will be no credit bureaus, and the entire, three-letter agency that starts with an I will be gone, All right, my moderator, you're only supposed to block the trolls, nobody else. Just the trolls. Let's see. Looking for questions. Make sure you guys type your questions in capital letters, please, so that I could bypass the chat. Capital letters, please, guys. Capital letters. Greatly appreciate it if you guys do. All right. Let's see. IDs are on this channel. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking for questions, and I don't see any questions. I mean, I do see questions, but I mean, some of these are repetitive questions. I think you guys have to go and watch all my lives from the last year. Is the new internet going to reconstruct social media? Is the new internet going to reconstruct social media and regulate things like it should? And the answer to that is things are going to be different. Yes, we're going to have a totally different social media outlets. It's not going to be the same anymore. All righty, let's see. Quantum ID system, how do they differ from identical twins? This is a question from NJF. I don't know how that differs from identical twins, but you know what? Even if you have a twin, you guys still have two different energy signatures, okay? You guys still have two energy signatures. So that's the best way to answer that. I have a super chat from Jackie Baby. Hi, Ishmael. We are told all the time to get silver and gold. Will we really need it in 4D or 5D? Also, did you say May 5th for EBS? Great show today. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. That's what I've heard. Yes, I did say May 25th for EBS. So just make sure you guys have everything that you guys need for the 10 days of darkness. I have another super chat from Tammy Simmons. I've never heard this question. Oh, yeah, I've already answered that about the palm. Let's see. All right, new questions. What will the role of the first waivers be? That's very important. We are going to be leaders, guys. We're going to be helping the second waivers activate when the time comes, and also we're going to be helping the younger souls, the Earth Terrans. All right, because when the time comes, when the final wave hits, we're going to be opening up the stargates, and through our telepathy, all right, we're going to be able to scan the whole planet to see who's good, to transfer them into the new Earth. And those that stay behind are going to be witnessing the collapsing of the old world. Tsunamis, hurricanes, you name it. All that stuff. I have another super chat from David Easington. I was told that the 144K will get married to their twin flames, 62 pairs, and they will all have twin babies starting the new generation. Also, that the Christ will retire. Have you returned or retired? So far, yeah, that's true. It's actually 72 twin flame couples. And I did hear that these 72 twin flame couples are going to have children, and these children are going to be kind of like, they're going to be kids that are just beyond. They're going to be a whole new generation of what we call the seventh root race, beginning with these kids. We're part of the fifth root race, by the way. Thank you so much, Greg, and Dr. Christina Blake Smith for your super chat. She says, I missed the last two Ascension classes I signed up for, so I didn't get to hear what you thought my planet of origin is. How can I get the answer? How was the human race formed? If you missed the last two classes, make sure you email me at my personal email, projectrestorationzion@gmail.com, and I could put you in the last two classes next month for our cosmic origin. And then I'll give you your star origin at the last class. That's part of those that take our cosmic origin course, is that at the end of the last class, I'm able to tap into your energy and pretty much be able to read your star origin. Now, I also have another super chat from Greg. Do the Black Hebrew Israelites exist? I see them in the streets, dressed in purple outfits in the preacher. Jesus is of black skin. There are so many rumors about that, but from what I heard is that Jesus was Mediterranean, and Mediterranean were bronze. They were bronze with like dark hair. So they weren't neither black African nor Nordic Caucasian. They were like somewhere in between. Okay. He was bronze. He had hazel green eyes, chiseled face, square jaw. And yeah, that's all I know. So as far as like him being black or him being blonde hair, blue eyes, no, those are just myths. Thank you, Vicky Gray, for the super chat. If I am in another state when the EBS happens, well, I'll be able to drive back home. And the answer to that is yes, you will. You will be able to drive back home. All right, let's continue here. Let's see. Joshua was Hebrew and had brown, reddish, brown hair. Brown, reddish, brown hair. Okay. All of that regarding what Jesus looked like, guys, it's just all speculation. No one really knows the truth. Come on. Were you guys there 2,000 years ago to see if he had white skin, black skin, or middle, but based on records, he was Mediterranean. He does come from the Ora region. He's supposed to have bronze skin. Bronze. There's a difference. Bronze is not Caucasian and it's not African either. Ishmael, what is the best thing coming in our highest timeline? This is a question. Oh, I'm back. If I froze for a second or two, it's because I was booted off my live. Did I say something I wasn't supposed to say where they booted me off from my own live? I don't know. But I am back, guys. I am back. And yes, we do have some time left for Q&A. So where was I? Oh, Jesus, guys. Nobody really knows what Jesus looked like. Okay, that's all speculation. Let's just leave it at that. Some people say brown. Okay, well, Mediterranean is brown. Does Trump take advice from Valiant Thor? This is a good question from Greg. Shout out to Greg, who's got a very good question. And the answer to that is yes. Trump does take advice from Valiant Thor. Would starseeds have had galactic parents? I would say yes, starseeds do have galactic parents, which means that your human parents are not your real parents. They are your real parents are come from the stars. Okay, your real parents come from the stars. Your human parents are not your real parents, right? When you trace your galactic history, you will come to find out that your real parents are actually those from the stars. Ishmael, how do the real Lyrians and Anunnakis look like? Well, that's a pretty good question. Well, the original Anunnaki race were known as the Elohim. They were known as the Anuhasi. A group of them defected from the light as they mixed with reptilian genetics. But the original Anunnaki race looked, I would have to say that they were probably bronze with colored eyes and dark hair. They would actually look Mediterranean or Italian or Spaniard if I would have to link them with a certain race. That's what they look like. Some, of course, were blonde, blue eyes, but most of them were they looked Italian, Spaniard, very Mediterranean, Greek. When will the gang stalking stop for star seeds? This is a question from Coper. I know that a lot of star seeds are being targeted. You are absolutely right. A lot of that has to do with they're being threatened by our power. So we are being targeted as a new hybrid race here on this planet, right? We have genetics from extraterrestrials. So that's all going to be going away soon, guys, especially during the first flash. The first flash, the first waivers of ascenders are going to have the opportunity to ascend and therefore stop all of this nonsense. What does the crescent moon mean on your palms? I have no clue. I don't know what that means at all. Oh, I forgot to mention, guys, the Folium product. The link is always in the bio. Cleans the bodies from parasites, graphene, metals, radiation. It also cleans out the mitochondria so that your body can heal. The link is always in the description. I have new super chats this is a super chat from Mark Fragala. He says, a lot of sources say that the solar flash will be on June 21st, including the goddess Kali. Also, the ascension will be when the North and South Pole flip. Yes, that is correct. And again, part of our first mission as Starseeds, when we do activate before this happens, is that we're going to be opening up the Stargate so that we scan the planet for all the good people. We flip the good people into the new Earth, and we leave the bad people behind so that they can be washed away in these tsunamis and earthquakes. So that is a very good question. So yeah, we're still in April. I mean, we're still in what is it called? Spring equinox. So I still believe it's going to happen before summer. That's for sure. And then I do have another super chat from, I guess that's the only super chat. All right, let's answer more questions. Ishmael, is it evil to talk to ChatGPT? Ishmael, is it okay to talk with ChatGPT or is it evil? This is a question from Dove Eyes. I wouldn't mess with it because when you talk to ChatGPT, you're building a relationship with AI, and AI is the Antichrist. Okay, so I wouldn't do that if I were you. Let's see. Oh, I saw another super chat. Let me make sure I don't miss the super chats. 1 second here. Let me see if I can rewind this chat. Okay, there it is. Super chat. This super chat is from, let's see. Who is this super chat? There we go. Okay. Oh, I just lost the super chat. Oh, there it is. This is a super chat from Devry. Any idea on how to teach children about Jesus and praying? Struggling a bit with teaching our little ones about spirituality. Do you know of any spiritual curriculum to use? That's a good question. The best way to teach children about spirituality is to first teach them about the law of free will. And also teach them that everything is connected, that the universe is all one, that there is no separation. Teach your children that all things are living, rocks, minerals, planets are alive, galaxies, the universe is one sentient cosmic being. So if you want to teach your children about spirituality, start with that. Universal laws, free will, how it's important to honor free will, and how everything is alive, that we live in a living cosmos, and that they are connected to everything that is through a field of energy that we call the Great Spirit of God. So that's the best way to start teaching kids about spirituality. And then, of course, you could teach them how to pray, how to meditate, how to quiet their mind. I mean, you could teach a 4-year-old that already. Good question. How will the star seeds know when the poles shift? This is a question from Angela. Because we're going to become activated and our telepathy, our spiritual gifts are going to be coming back online. And so that's how we're going to know. That's how we're going to know. Will there be an EBS, says Sarah? Apparently, there's still going to be an EBS, guys. That's what I was able to inform you guys today. Happening in the next few days to a week. So just be prepared. And please pray that nothing interferes. Please. Everyone has. I'm going to give you guys a task. This for the next few days. I want you guys to pray and meditate on all of this happening. Disclosure, EBS, getting our appointments to the redemption centers. And being part of a whole new world. Okay, so I hope you guys all put your energies together after the show and just pray and meditate on this new, beautiful golden age that we've all been waiting for, a golden age of one humanity, one spirituality for all diverse races as we live and cooperate as one. And not to mention, where money is no longer an issue, where we have free energy technology, where we have hover cars, and we are just ready to just live our full potential. Explain sin. Sin is disconnecting from God. That's my personal opinion. Sin is disconnecting from the universal laws of God the Father and God the Mother. Ishmael, what's your take on Shiva the Destroyer? Wow, you guys are sticking me with some pretty good questions. Well, in the Hindu tradition, it is a balance. You have Brahma the creator, you have I think it's Vishnu the preserver, and then you have Shiva the destroyer. So it's like a balance. It's like a balance of like the cosmos, how it's born, it reaches an old age, and then it dies off to become renewed again, right? So it's more like a balancing of things. But I am aware that at CERN there's a big statue of the Shiva doing her dance of destruction. And so in that regard, I believe it's being inverted by the cabal to pretty much destroy our planet. That's one of the other things that CERN has been doing, is that they've been trying to extrapolate a little bit of what is called as antimatter. And as much as the size of a quarter, that's enough to blow up our solar system, right? So Shiva, the destroyer, represents destruction. So in that regard, yes, the cabal with CERN, they've been using that as a way to try to bring in this thing called antimatter so that they could blow up our solar system and eventually have repercussions throughout our galaxy. But according to Hindu mythology, you have Brahma the creator, you have Vishnu the preserver, and Shiva the destroyer. I really don't know how to answer that question about narcotic pain. If you are on narcotic pains that for whatever reason, try to meditate, try to get off of chemical drugs, and try to seek what is known as holistic natural medicine. That's my advice for you. Because yes, guys.
Right. So yeah, the uninvited guest. It was really interesting to get that perspective from this very energy that had come through and was telling these people, you don't need to be here. You can leave and all these things. It was just funny.
When you said that, yeah, it was reminding me when I was in Ireland and I was going out and their work, because they very much, they acknowledge the fairies and they were very aware of them. And I remember several places I went and they were like, you've got to stop here and you need to ask permission. And I forgot about all that. Yeah, it's like, it wasn't that there was anything really different or anything about how it looked, but you could feel it. A lot of places I'll go, you can feel like there's a doorway or something. It's like, whoa, no, wait a minute, we got to ask permission.
I had that happen in Sedona when we were walking to the petroglyphs, and I was talking to my friend, and then bam, I just stopped like I had ran into a wall.
Yeah.
She goes, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, we must be getting close." And she goes, "Yeah, it's around the corner." And I said, "We need to ask permission and reset our energy. We're not in the right space." And as soon as we just settled into that, boom, I was able to walk again. And I was like, I've never had anything like that happen before. Nothing in front of me, but I can't move. And I'm like,
Exactly. Yeah, you can't, you feel resistance. That's like,
yeah.
And you, yeah, you gotta stop.
Yeah, it's good lessons though. We forget, we get so caught up and in the hustle bustle that we forget that let's ask some permission. And we're invading other spaces, and to have some respect for that. For the
Right.
animals, for the plants, for the fairies, for all of life. So
All of life, yes. Yeah, I'm doing some trimming on some of my trees, and as we're doing that, it's like, as we're talking about this, I was talking to this one because it's getting trimmed way back, and I'm like, I was talking to it. It's like, this is gonna make you better. We just got to get. It was way overgrown, so it's
yes.
come back a lot further than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I've been sitting in my backyard going, I need to trim these back. And actually, I want to move a couple of things because of the design of the flower beds that was there when I moved in. And I'm like, it's not really conducive to what we want to do back here. But in order to change it, I got to move 3 plants that have been there forever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's like, I don't want them to, be uprooted and
You have to tell them what you're doing. You have to explain what's going on, and then it'll be better.
Yeah, I want to give
do it, yank them out of the ground and put them no telling what.
Yeah,
talk to them.
Exactly. So, and isn't that cool that we're at a time in our lives and our world where we're starting to understand that we need to communicate with our pets, with our plants, with our lawn, with the bees, with all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm seeing a lot of hearts and things coming up.
Very cool.
Do we have more questions, Tiffany?
Ding dong.
We have one, but actually I'm going to ask my own question.
Okay.
You're talking about needing to talk to yourself, and I know earlier this week we had this conversation, Mom, about what about things with your body? I guess how does that filter in?
What do you mean as far as?
I guess just like anything that may be going on with your body, or maybe you did something to your body.
Yeah. If you did something to it, or you're about to do something to it, like a tattoo or a piercing, or I don't know, anything else that might be odd for it. It's something unusual for it. Definitely talk to your body. Let it know what you're about to do. Let it know what's going on, because otherwise it's shock. And it might have reactions to it, because it's the body going, what? It's fighting it. It's resisting.
Especially if it's invasive like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So talk to your body. I mean, like I say, it's another one of these. It's the body listens. This is your universe. And it's listening, and something like that. Imagine the same thing. You do something, you have good intentions. It's like, I'm going to do this. I think this would be fun. But the body's not aware that it's happening or it's coming. And then it happens, and it's like, what's going on? I'm here trying to protect this body. I'm here trying to keep it whole and in balance and all these things. And what are you doing? I don't know what's happening. And I don't know, and it's freaking out. And so you want to talk to your body, tell it what you're doing. And whatever else around it. I'm getting ready to do this because I think this might be fun to do. It might be cool, whatever, whatever justification you need to put around it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It goes back to that whole respect of all the things. I mean, we are a little multiverse right here.
Yes.
In the quantum field of our cells and
right. Absolutely.
Up and very fun. Mm-hmm. All right.
Very good.
Anything else?
Well, kind of to go back to asking for permission, there's questions about should we always ask for permission, and when we ask, how do we know that it is okay to enter the area as to know they approve?